Okay, SPAC boys and girls, this is our effort to do more SPAC chats during the crisis of our corona. At SPAC, we want to get through this with faith, hope, and love. The faith part's on you. The hope we want to bring you is today, and the love is that we're all going to come together and work this out together through this crisis. Many of the schools are announcing that they're not going to be back. Some hopefully will be back. Our last great hope for income for our industry is yearbooks. So I have a group of experts on today to share a little insight of what they see is going on now. How can we maximize some profits of this, and what's it going to look like in the future? So I have Gary Wood of Pixami. Hi, wave, Gary. We have Jennifer from Walters Publishing. That is behind the little sign for Jennifer, and the little phone thing, that's Mike of Studio Source. So I'm just going to throw out a question again. We'll see how it goes. Is that, are the schools even finishing the books, or are they just bailing on them? What do you think, Gary?
I mean, overall, we're seeing that everybody wants to finish the books. And so, we've only seen just a few that have officially bailed on them for good. So, our focus at Pixami is really just trying to get as many books out as we can and keep them going. And, we've been messaging to customers with ways, ideas to help keep the books moving. We think that everybody needs a book, especially this year. I mean, this year's book is more of a keepsake than probably other yearbooks in the past, and then some. And so we're trying to figure out ways to keep them going. And so far, it's hard to know, but I think it seems to be working. And we've pushed out a number of ideas, and we're jumping in and just helping. And
hey, anybody canceling books there at Walters, Jennifer?
We are not seeing a spike in cancels. I would echo what was just said, in that schools are actually still working on their books. We have, looking at our internal reporting and things like that, that we monitor, we're encouraged by what we're seeing. We're in talks with our channel partners, and their conversations that they're having with schools, and the schools are saying, the advisors are saying, yeah, we want to get these books done. So that's very encouraging to us. And one thing that Walters is doing is, if someone does call us, if a channel partner contacts us and inquires about, needing to cancel, we're actually putting their book on hold rather than cancel. And for us, what that means is the content is still preserved for anything that they've started in Pictavo. And so if they canceled, that means all that content would actually go away. So that's one thing we're doing, that even if they've reached out and said, the school wants to cancel, we're actually just putting it on hold and letting them know that.
Hey, Mike, anybody bailing?
No, we've spoken to, I've actually called every one of our customers, channel partners, independent school photographers. And so far, I would say out of over 1,000 schools, we've had 3 or 4 that have absolutely canceled. So it's very low numbers, just like you're hearing from Gary and Jennifer. Everybody's pretty optimistic. I was surprised. I called every customer last week and was pleasantly surprised at the optimism of getting the books done. So kind of echoing Jennifer and Gary as well.
See, if we had video and Jennifer and Mike had the video, they could see my thumbs up. Hey, anyways, content, or the school saying, hey, we don't have content, we got to cut number of pages. Have you had thoughts about adding content or how they can get in content, Gary?
Yes, and that's the biggest one. And, I mentioned we sent an email with a bunch of ideas on how to, and that's the biggest one. How do we fill the book? And so one of them is that there's 2 kind of main things that we're doing to add extra pages. One of them, it's kind of Mike's idea, I think, is collecting photos from students at home. And so where students can upload directly into the software. I know Pictavo has a similar feature to us in this regard, where they can send, pictures of their home learning situation or what they're doing during the coronavirus and things like that. And then adding a spread to the yearbook, about the coronavirus, or maybe just about home learning or kind of what's happening this year and things like that. And so students are participating from home through this vehicle that, we already have in the software. So that's one, and that seems to have a lot of traction. And the second one is year in review pages. We're seeing a big uptick in sales of year in review pages this year. That we have like pop culture and movies and TV and all that kind of stuff that gives you 8 pages of filler you can add to your books. We've had a number of requests for a coronavirus page for the year in review pages. That will be done tomorrow, and so we're sending out an announcement and we're pushing that out to all of our customers. And so that just it's an important thing that's happening this year, and it's an important thing to document in the book, and so I think that'll get incorporated into a lot of the Pixami books.
And Jennifer?
Yeah, it's going to be very reminiscent of what Gary just said. Agreed. We're seeing a good increase in the number of schools that are putting in our current events pages. We have 16 of those available, which also included a decade in review section, which I think they're enjoying. We were able to get that out late last week, a COVID-19 memories template. So much like people call them different things, like an all about me type of thing, where the students can write in certain things. We state questions or we have statements and they write things in. And here's one little, a bright spot. When we released that, and I believe it was on a Friday last week, within 24 hours, we had already had people utilize that particular template 41 times in the book. And not even a week later, we're seeing that number actually triple. So there's another, positive at this time that people are, they like the fact that we've provided that content. So we have stuff specific to COVID. In addition to those things we've created for them, we've given them ideas, much to what, Gary shared, on different things that they can capture that are happening throughout their community, not only at home, but then within the community. Those would be great things to feature in the yearbook. And then even other ideas that aren't COVID related, but featuring student artwork, that's always a great thing, especially in those elementary books. Doing those all about me pages, things like that are really great when you look back in years from now, type of thing. Those are the fun things to look at. So that's what we've been doing for additional ideas on content.
Yeah, Mike, since you're the one who told Gary about all those great ideas, I don't know, you have anything else to add?
Well, I'm glad he gave me a little bit of the credit up front, so thanks, Gary. But yeah, we also are creating some COVID-19 pages and content that we're going to make available next week. So we'll have that as well. And again, like Jennifer said, we've reminded advisors that the year in review pages are free, and it just adds to your pages. If you've already contracted for a certain number of pages, make sure that you take advantage of those. We have, I think, 9 pages to choose from for year in review. So yes, very similar to what Jennifer and Gary said.
So you're allowing the school to use the content of the pages just to backfill their book rather than making them, buy extra pages.
Right. There are some yearbook companies. I hear some feedback there. There are some yearbook companies, I think like Marathon, maybe makes you pay for like the pages, the content themselves, but it's always free. It just adds to your pages for our year in review pages. I think it's the same for Jennifer, for Walters.
That is correct. Yep.
Yeah, and the same thing with us. We just said it's cheaper to take the art, put it on a blank page rather than saying I don't want to pay for that page and you got to renegotiate the contract. So
exactly.
I'll just tell you a quick story of our screw ups because we don't do anything right at Excel. We were trying to get communications to our mass communications to all of our yearbook coordinators at the time, and we were trying to set up a blind CC. Ended up setting up a group, and then the employee sent out a message to all the groups. Now these yearbook people, all of our customers are connected. And I first said, holy shit, you know, someone pitches a bitch, I'm in trouble. But they popped off, hey, I'm doing this, I got it going. Yeah, we're gonna finish our book. They were encouraging each other. So if anyone else wants to screw up, I found that was a lucky break for a mistake that we did make.